Here's a quick tutorial on how to make a folder that you can share with your students in a particular class or classes, depending on how you want to share it and what kind of folder and what the folder is meant to be. First we need to actually do is create a folder, and we're going to name it something that not only I'm going to remember, but my students will recognize too as being a folder that belongs to me. You could even put your name here or something along those lines. Something that makes it very identifiable. It could be by the period, whatever you want to name, as long as your students are going to understand what it is. So now we have created this folder, and now we need to share it with our students. At this point, you can either type in by their ID numbers or their first names, last names. ID numbers will produce those quite a little quicker. If this is going to be an assigned folder, you might want to change this to Can View versus Edit. If it's a full-blown share where you're collaborating back and forth, you're going to want to have it as Edit. This is a folder level set of permissions. You'll notice there's no comments because you can't comment on things that are actually in a folder. If you're in a high school setting, the high school students do have email, so you can send an email to these folks. If you're in any of the grades lower than high school, they do not have email, so you can actually uncheck that. The other thing you might want to do as well, down here where it says editors, will be allowed to add people and change permissions. You want to come in here and actually say only the owner of this folder can do that, which is you. Okay. Now you'll notice we've put John Luke and TUser8 are here, and they can edit. Now I'm going to pop off screen for a second. Okay, I'm having John Luke drop a file in here. You'll notice that the owner, we now have a file called Just a Doc, and it's owned by John Luke. If we were to come in here and look at the ownership of this file and sharing permissions, you'll notice that anybody that is in here has edit rights can edit this file. One thing to note about this is, yes, you are the owner of the file. When a student drops a document or content of their own that they own, it goes against their quotas, not yours. So as long content only goes against your quota if you are the owner. So that's your email, any content in your drive whatsoever, if you are the owner. Okay, so of course, me being the teacher, I can actually come in here and I can make comments on this if I like now. I can make a comment. Or I can edit even. I can make some strike-throughs, things like that in nature, depending on how you want to grade. You can do grading like that as well. That's pretty much that. Now for your students on their side of things, recognizing these, they are going to want to go to Share with Me, and they'll see folders that have the little person on them. The only thing they need to do is actually check here and say put in Add to My Drive, at which point they'll show up in under My Drive. Make it a little easier for dragging and dropping and expansion. If the time comes at the end of the year and they need to remove it, all they have to do is remove from this list and it actually will go away and be moved back to under just shared with me, as long as it is shared with them. You'll notice it's still here. that is an easy way to share with your students.